Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. My name is George Kingori. I'm an online finance guy who speaks about all things finance. How you can be able to grow, how you can be able to invest, and how you can be able to improve your financial outlook. So today, you're looking into buying land. You want to put your name in the lands registry and you want to enter the list of people who own land in Kenya. So how do you go about it? So today we are going to speak about how to buy land in Kenya in the right way, in the legal way, and how you're going to avoid being conned of your money, not so that you do not buy free air and not actual land. So how do you go about it? So the first thing you need to do, you have identified the person who is selling you the land. Then you need to see the ownership documents. You need to get a copy of the title deed of the land that you intend to buy. So ask the person who is selling you the land to give you a copy of their title deed. Again, it is important so that you may be able to verify several things. So when you get this copy of the title deed, then you go to the lands registry so that you can be able to do a search on this land. So what is a search? A search is a document like this. One that you are able to write up and issue it to the lands registry so they can be able to do a search on the ownership of this land, and they can be able to give you details on the charges that may apply to this land, the easements, and any other issues that may be regarding to this land. Sometimes there are notes or issues that have been brought about with the land. Maybe it is not supposed to be subdivided, maybe it's not supposed to be sold, maybe there is an ownership tussle between relatives and things like that, and this may be able to be annexed in the lands registry and you could be able to get all these results. So identify that the ownership is there and that there are no issues regarding to this land. Again, easements are not illegal, but sometimes the utility providers may have certain rights over your land, maybe to pass electric lines or water lines and things like that, which may impede any construction that you may be able to do on a certain section of that land. Again, it is not common, but it does happen. So these things are the ones that you are able to identify when you do the title search at the lands registry. Then the other thing that you need to do that many people do not do is they do not go to do a search at the survey of Kenya. You need to get a big map, the big map of that location. So for example, if you're buying land, for example, in say Kikuyu, Kikuyu has a location, it has a sub-location, then there is a number of the land where you are buying. You need to be able to get this map to be able to see where your land is actually located. The reason you need to do this is because of one thing. You need to identify what are the specific dimensions of your land. What are the neighboring pieces of land in your land, so you can be able to identify if there are any issues. If the person who sold you the land showed you a land near a highway or a road, and the land that you are being able to see is far away from this road, this is where you identify the actual location as per the survey of Kenya. So do it so that you are able to identify where you're supposed to go. This is especially important if you are buying subdivided land. Do not buy subdivided land if you're going to be given a mother title and you do not see any documents that show that the land has been subdivided. Why is this important? So that they do not sell you land that has a strategic importance or value, but the land that you're going to actually buy is far off from these utilities that you have been promised to receive. So ensure that you have your search from the survey of Kenya. Again, government might not be great, but there's one thing that they do right, is that they keep excellent records of land registry maps and all these things. So get your searches done. Then the other thing, you need to check whether there is a rates clearance certificate. Most of the land in Kenya pays rates to the county governments or the national governments, and these rates are paid on an annual basis, and failure to pay these rates accrues a certain interest, and that is why at times the dailies have certain notifications where you are supposed to clear your rates. So if you're buying land that has never been paid rates for say a period of time, this amount may actually add up. In some places it could be as little as 800 shillings for an acre of land every year. In some places, especially in the urban areas, it can be as high as 3,000 shillings for a 50 by 100 piece of land, or even lower. So check that the rates have been paid, so that you do not have to pay these rates when you want to do development. Remember, when people are usually caught as regards to paying rates when they need to do any development on this land. So you want to apply to be able to do a construction, and you apply to be able to get the buildings that you want to do approved, but they might ask for a certificate. And if the previous owner had not paid anything, you will end up paying their bills. So ensure that there is a rates clearance certificate that is up to date at the point in which you are paying. If they do not pay for it, then you should be able to deduct this amount before you buy this land. So you need to get a certificate or a calculation that will be net of the amount you're going to pay. So the other thing you need to do, and many people do not do this, is do a physical due diligence. Walk around the neighborhood, talk to people, ask the questions about this and this land. They will be able to show you whether there are any family issues that have not been annexed by the lands registry as you did your search. If there are any inheritance issues appertaining to this land, if there are any issues that you need to be brought abreast of, do a physical diligence. Just walk around, buy somebody lunch, speak to these people on the ground, speak to the local chief, and you'll be able to get these local issues that may be specific to the land that you want to buy, because you do not want to be dragged into an endless squabble or issue as regards to the land that you are going to buy. Then after you have done all these things and you are now confident that the person who is selling you the land is the actual owner, the person who is selling you the land does not have a caution on the land, so there is no loan that is attached to this property. If you ascertain that there are no legal or personal issues attached to the land, and that everything has been annexed at the Survey of Kenya and the Lands Registry, then you can proceed and enter into a contract. Enter into a contract. Do not go buying land without entering into a contract, because a contract allows you to identify the obligations between the buyer and the seller. One, to identify that there is an actual agreement of sale. Then two, to identify the parties who are involved in the sale, you and the seller of the land. Then to be able to identify and to be able to specify that the parties entered into agreement with the full knowledge of what was actually happening. Because remember, when this person jumps ships and says that they did not buy, they did not sell you land, you can be able to annex a document that shows that they actually sold land to you. So a contract is supposed to protect you. Then it also shows the value that you are exchanging for. So what are you buying? Title, this and this and this, land that is located here and here and here for this amount of money, either in shillings or whatever. Again, the other thing that you need to consider is, in a contract, there must be some value that is exchanged, because for a contract to be legal in Kenya, there must be some value, whether it is monetary or it is in kind or in exchange for another piece of land, but there must be some monetary valuation that is put there. So note, some monetary valuation must be included there, whether it is 1 shilling or whatever amount, because consideration must be there for a contract to be able to be done. Then you need to determine the amounts that you pay and at what time, because sometimes the devil is in the details. Because if you pay too fast, then the people who are contracting may be lax and not in a hurry to be able to end the transfer of the land to you. If you do it too slow, they might be tempted by another offer from another more serious person who wants to be able to buy the same piece of land. So here you need to be careful as you structure the contract. So my ideal that I will be able to ask that you may use so that you're able to protect yourself and do the very best is, 1, do the contract with a lawyer, a legal lawyer, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. It might cost you a little bit more money, but it is good to be safe than put your money in a place that you might later be sorry. Then you need to enter into an agreement. So do not pay your lawyer until you have completed the transfer, so that they are able to finish the transfer quick enough, so that because they are eager to receive payment for their services. Do not just pay for a blank contract. Pay for the actual execution at the very end. And remember, because you've done the searches and you've done the due diligence, the lawyer only needs to do the actual transfer moving forward on behalf of the two parties. If you're going to use one lawyer for these purposes, it might be cheaper because you've already done the due diligence on your end. So 10% at the signing of the contract is what I would suggest for you. 10% at the signing of the contract, then 50% after they have gotten the consent to transfer. Again, I would encourage you to appear for the hearing of the Lands Control Board for that specific area, so that when they have received the consent and you have seen that there are no objections or issues to the transfer of this title, then you can be able to pay 50% again through the lawyer, so that all these things can be annexed. And every time you gave them an amount, you're supposed to sign down that you have given and they have received. Again, what I would encourage you is don't carry cash around. Pay through a bank check or a transfer that can be annexed, so that you can be able to show this is a contract and I met my end of the obligations, because you need to protect yourself as you transfer land, as you buy land, so that you are not conned of your money. Again, the rest of the money, when the person has given their original title deed, they have given to the lawyer for transfer, or even after the transfer has already been done in your name, because again, you need to ensure that the person has submitted their documents and that the contract is coming to an end. So once the lawyer has received the title, you can give the amount so that they can hold this amount for the two of you as the transfer is being done. So this money is not handed directly to the seller, but it is held in trust by the lawyer, so that they can be able to transfer the amount later on when the transfer has been effected. So then you have been able to receive your title deed. It is not the end. You need to identify, because you have received this title deed, you need to again do a search to determine that your name has been entered in the lands registry and the title deed is valid and it has been annexed in the lands registry. Because remember, a title deed is just a physical confirmation on your end that you own the land, but you need to go and determine that the physical records in the registry, which is a legally required verification that it is in your name. If it is subdivided land, you need again to go to the survey to determine that the land has been subdivided as per what you had agreed. However, I would encourage you not to buy subdivided land, especially when the subdivision has not been carried out and effected by the survey of Kenya, because they might divide you land and sell it in any other place, any other where. So to be specific, do not buy subdivided land which has not been the subdivision has not been officially handed over to the survey of Kenya. So ladies and gentlemen, that is how you buy land in Kenya. I do not want you to come crying. I do not want you to be fearful as you do your transfer, and I do not want you to be conned of your money. So that is how you transfer land in Kenya safely, effectively, and without any issues. If I am helpful to you, remember, my name is George Kingori. I am here to educate, to elevate, and to motivate you in your financial journey. Remember to subscribe to the channel, to leave a comment down below, and to like this video so that this message can go to more and more Kenyans and people who are looking to buy land in Kenya. Thank you and enjoy your day.